In today's video, I discuss the most overlooked causes of gas, bloating and digestive problems. Roll the titles.
For the record, I'm done trying to make y'all comfortable. For the record, you ain't trying to grow, then it's done for you.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Before I jump into the video, just a quick reminder that I'm now offering the SIBO organic acid stool tests and consult via my website. So if you have any health or digestive problems, then consider taking these tests, as they will provide a lot of very detailed information upon which you can start making informed decisions and then start getting your health back on track. And on that bombshell, to the video. So if we start off with the basics, we eat food, we chew it up. The chewing action increases the surface area of the food in the mouth. And then as the food is digested, it is exposed to digestive enzymes, stomach acid, and various pancreatic enzymes to break down the food. So you obviously chew the food and it goes down the esophagus into the stomach. And if everything is normal and healthy, the food will go into a nicely acidic stomach with a pH of around 1.5 to 3. And when the stomach has a nice low pH, one of the main things that will happen is that the digestive enzyme activity is increased. And one of the main enzymes that is increased is pepsin. And pepsin is a proteolytic enzyme that helps break down proteins. So we eat the food, it goes to the stomach, it is exposed to hydrochloric acid and pepsin and various digestive enzymes, and then a chyme mixture is produced. So chyme is a semi-fluid mass of partly digested foods. So from here, the chyme is released from the stomach and it heads into the small intestines, where it is further exposed to enzymes such as CCK and secretin. Now, I'll come back to these in a second, but we first need to take a step back and touch on acetylcholine. Acetylcholine is an organic chemical in the body that is involved in the vagus nerve stimulation. The vagus nerve runs from the brain through the face and thorax all the way down to the abdomen. And the other thing that you need to remember is that the vagus nerve represents the main component of the parasympathetic nervous system. The parasympathetic nervous system oversees a vast array of crucial bodily functions, including mood, immune function, digestion, and also heart rate. So just remember, the parasympathetic nervous system is known as the rest and digest, and the other side of the coin you have the sympathetic nervous system, which is known as the fight or flight response. So just to summarize, you have the brain, and from this you have the vagus nerve that runs down the body to the gut and stomach, and all the way down the vagus nerve you have vagus nerve fibers. And it's the structure and function of the vagus nerve that facilitates the production of acetylcholine. Now, some of the best things that you can do to help the whole digestive process and help with things like the production of acetylcholine is chew your food properly, eat your food when you are relaxed and in good time, so that you're not trying to eat very quickly when you are stressed. So sit down, chew your food properly, and allow yourself 30 to 45 minutes to consume your meal. And when you do all of this, you will get normal vagus nerve stimulation. Now, just a minute ago, I touched upon CCK and secretin, so let's come back to these. You obviously need a nice low pH in the stomach, and when you don't have a low pH, it causes a number of different net negative problems. So in this diagram here, you can see at the top of the stomach, you have a sphincter, and as you eat, this opens and shuts. And between meals, this largely remains shut to ensure your stomach acid doesn't travel upwards into the esophagus. Now, the effectiveness of the sphincter remaining shut depends on having a low pH in the stomach. So you eat your meal, it goes into the stomach where the digestive process is kick-started with stomach acid and also digestive enzymes. Now, CCK fits into this digestive jigsaw, as CCK is a hormone that is triggered in the gut by the consumption of fats. And when you consume fat, CCK causes the contraction of the gallbladder. Your gallbladder houses bile, which is a liquid that is produced in the liver, and this helps digest and emulsify fats. Now, when the bile is stored in the gallbladder, it is 10 to 20 times more concentrated than when the bile is produced in the liver. So a good analogy of bile is dishwasher detergent in a dishwasher that helps get all of the fat and grime off the pots and pans. But on top of this, bile also acts as a detox pathway for things like cholesterol, hemoglobin and bilirubin, which is the broken down structure of red blood cells. Now, your bile is constantly being depleted in the body, so one of the best things that you can do to support bile production is to give the body a constant supply of healthy fats. By doing this, you are constantly and effectively changing the oil or giving the digestive engine a service so that fat breakdown is possible. Now, if the bile production becomes stagnant because of stomach acidity problems, or if you're not consuming good quality fats, the bile can sit in the gallbladder, and cholesterol, which is one of the main building blocks of bile, this can then crystallize and this creates gallbladder stones. Now, these gallbladder stones, if you look at them under a microscope, they are like tiny shards of glass. So what do you think will happen when CCK triggers the contraction of the gallbladder when you have gallstones that resemble shards of glass? Correct, you get inflammation and pain. So if you are getting sandy coloured stools, very loose stools on a regular basis, as well as a stabbing sensation pain under the right rib cage, then these are warning signs that your gallbladder has a number of different problems. And if these problems become sizable, then your doctor may suggest that you remove your gallbladder. This can have disastrous impacts on digestion for some, so the main goal should obviously be to support gallbladder health so that you don't need to have your gallbladder removed. Now, you may recall a short time ago that I said both CCK and secretin are pivotal to the digestive health process. So secretin is triggered by low stomach acid and is made by combining over 20 different amino acids. So quite simply, secretin is a hormone that is released into the bloodstream by the duodenum, especially in response to acidity, to stimulate secretion by the liver and pancreas. So the lower the pH of the stomach, the more secretin that will be produced. So you just need to remember that CCK triggers the contraction of the gallbladder to release bile, and secretin triggers the release of digestive enzymes and also bicarbonate. So you can see very quickly that if your stomach acid doesn't have a low enough pH, then it can cause a cascade of problems downstream. Now, as I just said, secretin causes the release of digestive enzymes as well as bicarbonate. Bicarbonate is important because your stomach is very acidic, so when the digested food and chyme is released from the stomach into the small intestines, we need to increase the pH so the stomach acid doesn't cause damage to the small intestinal lining. So you can see from all of this, you have stomach acid, CCK, secretin, bile, digestive enzymes all coming together to help digest foods. And if you have an issue in any one of these steps, then it can cause a cascade of problems in the digestive process. Now, coming back to the main focus of this video, the gallbladder is one of the most overlooked areas of digestion. And when you run into problems with the gallbladder, your digestive function will decrease very quickly. So when you have gallbladder issues, you will have symptoms such as gas and bloating, sandy coloured stools, loose stools, pain under the right rib cage, as well as stools that float because of their high fat content. Now, gallbladder issues can be triggered by many different factors, reactions, and also intolerances. So for example, in some people, food intolerances and sensitivities such as gluten can have a significant impact on gallbladder function. On top of this, there are a number of different medications such as antibiotics and birth control that can also have a negative effect on gallbladder function. How many of you watching this video started suffering with digestive issues after you started a medication such as antibiotics? And finally, the last area that can drive gallbladder issues is infections such as Giardia, which is a parasitic infection. But just remember that there are many infections in the gut that not only impede digestive function, but they can also severely impede gallbladder function. So what can you do if you are suffering with these types of problems? Well, some of the basic things you can try is removing problematic foods, supporting digestion with hydrochloric acid and digestive enzymes, support gallbladder function with things like beet powder, and obviously remove any infections in the gut. So if you have tried the basics and they are not working to resolve your problems, then reach out to an experienced healthcare practitioner to help you establish what is causing your issues. So that's the end of today's video. I hope you all enjoyed, and as always, remember to look after your body because it's the only place you have to live. And I'll see you next time.